So after living in Atlanta for over 13 years, there are just some things I absolutely love about living here. So in today's video, I'm gonna break down my top 5 favorite things that I love about living in Atlanta. Coming up right now. So it's an absolutely beautiful day here in Atlanta. It's springtime, the weather hasn't gotten too crazy hot, the mosquitoes aren't out yet, and I'm in Grant Park, which is probably my favorite park in the city. I thought it'd be a great time to do a video about some of the things that I love about living in Atlanta. Now there's a lot to love about living in this city. I've talked about some things I don't like, I talked about some things that I like all the time, but in this video we're gonna talk about my 5 favorite things that I love about living in Atlanta. So if you need help with anything related to moving to the Atlanta area, we would love to hear from you. If you look at the description below, you can book a Zoom call with us, you can call our cell phone, you can send us an email, whatever you want to do. But we have people reaching out all the time to help them buy or sell a home in Atlanta, and we absolutely love it. So don't hesitate to reach out today. All right, so coming in at number 5, I have festivals. Okay, if you're the type who likes to be outside, music events, food events, Atlanta has got you covered. Because of our warm climate, how nice it is to be outside all year round, there are tons of festivals here for all different types of people and all different types of interests. Shaky Knees was this weekend, which is one of the more popular music festivals, and I actually went with my wife. We are, stuck the little body camera in, so hopefully we got some good footage. We'll add it as B-roll here so you could just kind of get a sense of the vibe of one of the festivals. But I mean, there are a ton of festivals, everything from Inman Park Fest, Midtown Music Festival, there's Dragon Con, which is an absolutely huge one, there's Pride Festival, which is obviously huge here. I just mentioned Shaky Knees, there's Shaky Beats, there's the Food and Wine Festival, Sweetwater 420 Fest, Atlanta Jazz Fest. The Peachtree Road Race around the 4th of July is a total tradition. You have to run it at least once if you live in Atlanta. So needless to say, if you're a festival person, you like being outside, you like concerts, you like food, you are going to love that about Atlanta. All right, so next up on the list, I have food. Now, there is a lot of great food in Atlanta. If you've watched any of my videos previously, you've probably heard me be pretty critical of the food scene in Atlanta. I am pretty critical of the restaurant experience in the city of Atlanta, but the saving grace for the food for me is Buford Highway and really the Duluth area as well. I'm a huge fan of authentic Asian food, and there is no shortage of authentic Asian and Latin American food along Buford Highway and in the Duluth area, especially for Asian food. So I'm actually gonna take you inside my super secret favorite food spot in the entire Atlanta area. You cannot tell anyone about it. We're gonna go into the Jusco Market, one half of the best Asian supermarket I've been to ever, and the other half is the best Asian food court that I've been to ever. So I'm gonna try to get you some footage inside so you can see what I'm talking about, and it's a great excuse to go out here and get lunch. So Duluth is great for Asian food. Buford Highway has some of the best cheap eats you can find if you like, getting a lot of value for your money. If you like authentic foreign food, whether it's Mexican, Chinese, Japanese, Thai, many different cultures, Indian, Buford Highway is where you want to go. I look for any excuse to go out to Buford Highway or Duluth for lunch. So let's go get some footage and I'll meet you after lunch. right, so I just finished up lunch at the Juice Skull Market. I've got my boba, feeling good and ready to go. The food scene in Atlanta is good, but only in certain places. In my opinion, you gotta check out Buford Highway and the Duluth area for the best food around the city. All right, so coming up next on my list, I have the weather. Now, I know you've heard me talk about this in so many videos before, but it's true. It's one of the best things about living in Atlanta. Now, we don't have the Southern California climate, you know, the sunny and 70 every day, but I actually like that. So in Atlanta, Georgia area, you have 4 distinct seasons, and yet it's a very mild climate, and there is tons of sunshine. So yes, summer can get crazy hot, the humidity is nuts, but I'll tell you what, spring and fall is absolutely gorgeous. It's early May right now. It's in the mid to high 70s. There's a breeze, tons of sunshine, just perfect seasons in my opinion. And then winter, really quick and mild. Yes, it gets cold, it gets rainy, almost no snow to speak of. You might have 1 or 2 days of flurries, but generally in the wintertime, you're gonna be in the low 40s and it's gonna be kind of overcast and rainy. But really mild, quick winter. The summer is longer. The summer is longer than probably what you're used to if you're coming from, you know, like up in the Northeast. And it is more intense. The humidity is crazy, okay? If you live near the ocean and you're not used to humidity, if you're in the Pacific Northwest, listen, you are gonna have to deal with, you know, a much higher humidity level, but to me, it's worth it. We have so much sunshine. And honestly, the majority of the time living in Atlanta, it feels like the weather is fantastic. So I think that's one of the big things that brings people down here. So definitely one of the things that I love most about living in Atlanta is the weather. So there are a few nature-related activities on this list that I love about Atlanta, but I had to talk about rivers specifically. The rivers in Georgia around Atlanta is honestly one of the things I love most about living here. Right now I'm at the Chattahoochee, which is, you can access, it's a huge river, obviously runs almost the length of the state. You can access it from all different points around Atlanta and in Georgia. But this is the area where you would typically float the hooch. It's a very popular pastime for Atlantans, especially in the summer around 4th of July. You'll see this whole river packed with people floating, drinking, playing music. It's a really good time. Personally, I'm into whitewater kayaking. So, you know, I'll kayak the Chattahoochee down in Columbus, Georgia, where there's actually a man-made whitewater stretch that's fantastic for whitewater kayakers. But I love to go up to the Chattooga, the Cartacay, the Tallulah, and there are some fantastic rivers. You don't have to be a whitewater kayaker if you like to canoe, if you like to raft, there's great rafting. And if you like to fish, you know, there's great fly fishing, all types of fishing. So not only do you have so many fantastic rivers in Georgia, but I'm often in the Carolinas, going up to the Nantahala, Tellico. The states surrounding Georgia have a lot of great nature. Alabama's got some great whitewater. There's just endless nature-related activities to do here, but you know, if you're gonna be living around Atlanta, floating the hooch is fantastic. It's very peaceful. It's not too crazy. There's a short stretch in this area where you can hop on a float, and it's about 2.5 miles. You know, it's nothing crazy. It's a great way to relax and be out in nature. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's in the city. You know, it's in the city, so you don't have to travel far out. You can travel far out, but you don't have to. So right now, I'm hanging out by the water. There's a great coffee shop, Chattahoochee Coffee Company, by the river. That's a great, fantastic coffee shop where you can go hang out, enjoy coffee by the river. So lots of great rivers in Atlanta, in Georgia, and that is definitely one of the things I love most about living in Atlanta. Next up on the list, I have trees. Yeah, I know that sounds kind of simple, but honestly, the trees in Atlanta are one of my favorite things about living here. Atlanta is actually known as a city in a forest, and for good reason. I'm actually in my own backyard right now, and it's probably my favorite part of my house, sitting in the backyard. And we live almost in downtown Atlanta, okay? We can see the Capitol building from our house, and yet it really feels secluded, and it does kind of feel like we're in a city in a forest. Very peaceful, especially in the warmer weather, spring and the fall time. I love the tree coverage all around my house. Now, of course, something you have to look out for as well. You don't want, you know, a bunch of limbs too close to your house or dead trees close to the house. But, you know, when you're buying a home around Atlanta, I think one of the best things about living here is the gorgeous trees, the shade, the coverage, the beautiful atmosphere that it creates. So, might sound simplistic or funny to say, but without a doubt, one of my favorite things about living in Atlanta is the trees, living in a city in a forest. And I think you'll love it too. All right, so there you have it. Those are 5 things that I absolutely love about living in Atlanta. So if you're on the fence, if you're thinking about, you know, Atlanta versus another city, it's definitely at least worth a visit. I think, especially if you come either in the spring or fall, you'll really fall in love with Atlanta. There's a lot to do here. There's great weather. The people are great. So hopefully that gave you a little bit insight into the city. Hopefully it provided you some value. So like I said, reach out if you have any needs buying a home in Atlanta. And thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And until my next video, I'll see you next time.